Hey, how's it going, guys? I hope you're all having a fantastic day as usual, because I'm not. I've been trying to leave my house for the past hour, and I can't even get down my damn stairs.
Alright, hopefully it works this time. Come on. Come on. There's no way. I just went down. There's actually no way. There's absolutely no way.
At this point, I honestly, I give up. I think the only thing we can do at this point is play a game to help pass the time.
You're trapped, you dumb bitch. The only way to ever leave your house again is to beat my game.
Is my house haunted? Well, I guess everything adds up now. I guess if I ever want to leave my house again, we're gonna have to beat Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. But before that, let's talk a little bit about the history of the game, like usual. Akuma Kira was born on January 24th, 1992. Not much is known about Kira's early life, but they definitely had an interest in both game and music creation growing up. One of the first games Kira ever made was a Gmod map called Shadows. This was a survival horror map that was turned into a 3-part series, which gained lots of respect for both his creativity and horror elements. Shortly after the creation of Shadows, Akuma Kira formed the game company Lag Studios to work on their own games. One of the first games Lag Studios ever made was called Space Blasters. This game starts out as a normal space shooter game that slowly becomes dark and eerie. The game did alright, but it wasn't super successful. Lag Studios then worked on another game called Akuma Kira's Day Off. Sadly, this game was never finished, but it had a similar vibe to their earlier game, Space Blasters. The game starts out cute and starts to get extremely dark as you progress. This is a very common theme for most of their games, with their website's bio saying, "Rather than conform to the desires of everyone, we would rather make games that are not for everyone, because the people who do like it will like it much more. We would rather have a small dedicated following than a large and caring one. We make games for us, and we make them as weird and horrible as we want." Lag Studios continued with the trend of subverting expectations with all of their games, not knowing this next project would be their biggest one yet. Sometime in 2014, Sheena Perez, a friend of Kira's, joined Lag Studios. Both Sheena and Kira wanted to create a game that would be a love letter to the horror genre. Thus, Spooky's House of Jumpscare was created on October 24th, 2014. The first version of the game had only 300 rooms with 5 different specimens. The UI was also very simplified compared to later versions of the game. After around a year and plenty of updates adding more to the game, the first finalized version of the game was released on July 21st, 2015. Everything was going great until May 20th, 2016, where Lag Studios would face their first bit of controversy. A company by the name of Spooky House Studios sent a cease and desist to Lag Studios for using the name Spooky's House of Jumpscares. This is because they wanted the trademark for the term Spooky House. Due to Lag Studios being a small game company and Spooky House Studios being much larger, they were forced to change the name of the game to avoid any legal battles. During the time period of changing the name of the game, Lag Studios created some hilarious title screens. I mean, look at this. After a little bit of time, the name that they decided on was Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. This name avoided any legal problems and was similar enough to the original. After the name change, the game received a few more updates until the game would go quiet for nearly a year. Lag Studios went quiet for a little while due to the company being split in half. Sheena Perez, alongside her best friend Travis Rupp Green, created Albino Moose Games, and Akuma Kira created their own game company called Kira LLC. Travis and Sheena at Albino Moose Games decided to upgrade Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion to a whole new level. The old program Kira and Sheena used to make Spooky's House of Jumpscares was called Game Maker. This program wasn't the greatest to work with and made it impossible for the game to be exactly how they envisioned. Some of the specimens didn't work properly and the game overall could have looked a whole lot better. So, Albino Moose Games decided to make an HD version of the game using Unity. This version has 3D models, HD graphics, and even some extra twists added to the game. Even after splitting from Lag Studios, Kira decided to help out with the art for HD Renovation, so all hands were on deck. And so, Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion HD Renovation was released on March 1st, 2017, this being the definitive way to play the game nowadays. Now that we talked a little bit about the history of the game and the changes that it went through, I think it's finally time that we start playing to hopefully break this curse. For as long as you can remember, legends have been told about the derelict mansion upon the hill that casts a blanket of darkness over the town. The history of the house itself is virtually unknown, and even the town's oldest residents cannot remember the mansion's origin. Being an avid history enthusiast, you embark up the mountain to visit the manor, hoping to shed some light on the backstory of this crumbling fortress of darkness. Oh yeah! When you start a new game, you have a few options to choose from, but for the sake of this video, we will just be playing the mansion. Or we'd be here all day. When I first started the game, I appear to be in a room that looks straight out of a horror movie. I mean, come on, look at these stairs. Spooky appears straight from the ceiling and asks if we can make it through all 1,000 rooms of the mansion. She then tells us she doesn't even know if there is an end. After entering the first room, a cardboard cutout jumped out at me, attempting to scare me. Personally, I didn't even flinch, but hey, I guess it could scare somebody.
Bazinga!
Oh,
There was also a note attached to the cutout which reads, "At first this place just seemed cute, but I've been here for days now. I'm feeling quite parched now, and I keep getting this feeling like I'm being washed by something. This is not romantic at all." Wait, the guy in the note says that he's been here for days, but this is only our first room. If you haven't guessed it already, all rooms in this game are completely randomized. This is one of the best parts of this game since no playthrough is ever the same. After walking through a bunch of different rooms, at room 19 I found another note written by the same guy that says, "I know something is following me, but I feel like I am prancing through the same rooms over and over. Hopefully leaving notes as breadcrumbs will prove I am making progress and reaching some destination. I just hope I don't run out of ink. I am dreadfully thirsty." I'm not sure how long this guy's gonna survive for, especially if he resorts to drinking ink. Anyways, at room 20 I found a third note. "Ink, not quite quenching my thirst. Taste is terrible, stains are terrible. I don't think drinking it was a very romantic idea." In room 22, I found yet another note. This one reads, "I found something today to satisfy my unromantic thirst. I awoke today from a brief faint and found before me a bottle of red wine. I am not sure what brand or year, for there is no label. All I gather is that it tastes strongly metallic." Ah, yes, I love consuming random drinks I find on the ground with no labels. After walking a little bit longer, I found a fifth note at room 35. I don't think that was wine. And at room 44, the goon left a sixth note. I don't know how much longer I can go on. I haven't seen any of my previous notes, so that means either I'm getting somewhere or someone is taking them. Well, we haven't found his body yet, so maybe he is okay. At room 50, I entered an elevator that acts as both a safe house and a save area. Too bad we can't stay in here forever. Alright, I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna go grab a snack quick. What the hell happened? Alright, well, I guess I can't leave my seat anymore. I wonder what's up with that guy. When I reached room 52, I found an arcade with 4 different machines. The first one is called Mrs. Spook. It's Pac-Man, but you're the ghost. And it's kind of brutal. The next machine is called Mall of Spook. In this game, you play a spooky in a mall, stabbing innocent people trying to shop. You get a higher score the more people you kill, and there's even a leaderboard. The next game is called Spooky Kart. In Spooky Kart, you play as someone who most likely doesn't have their license. You drive on the road and try to take out as many cars as you can. And the last machine is out of order? We'll get back to that one later. The next room had a cool Five Nights at Freddy's reference, with the room having the classic desk with the fan. You can even hear someone talking to you over the phone, which just so happens to be Sheeta Perez.
Yes, hello. Yes, hi, hello.
At room 60, I found this weird green substance on the floor, and walking through it makes you much slower than usual. So I guess we're going to have to look out for that. There's also a note in the room which reads, What? Spouting, splashing, soaking, innards and jest invoking, nailing never stops the choking. What the fuck is that? This right here is Specimen 2, the first real enemy you have in this game. It places pools of slime on the floor that slows you down. It even appears from the slime itself, so you gotta be careful and not stand on it for too long. For those who are curious, this specimen is actually based off of the Glub Glub monsters from Adventure Time. Oh, what the hell is this, a maze room? This chase didn't last too long, and I lost Specimen 2 after only 13 rooms. After we encounter each specimen, I also want to show you guys their death screen, just because a lot of them are very unique and very cool. Once I reached room 74, I found this weird machine. This is the CatDOS machine, which gives you data on how specimens work and how deadly they are. For now on, I will be showing the CatDOS entry for each specimen, but since we missed the first two, I'll show you guys those ones now. Specimen 1, type docile, total fatalities 4, method heart attack. A cardboard cutout figure that springs out from the walls proved not very effective against healthy subjects. The fact that anyone died of the specimen is mind-blowing to me. It's a literal cardboard cutout. Specimen 2, type active, total fatalities 137, method physical tearing. A mostly semi-solid base specter that frequently changes matter states, proved very effective against weaker or slower subjects. Clearly this guy's a huge step up from the cardboard, which means it's only going to get more dangerous from here. There's also an option to modify the house layout, which doesn't work for some reason. At room 78, I found a room that makes it look like you're in heaven. This room actually functions exactly like the Lost Woods from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. You pick a path and listen for noise, and if it's right, you get a high-pitched noise, and if it's wrong, the noise sounds deep. After getting all directions right, you can finally leave this room. The rest of the rooms were pretty boring until I got to room 93. We got another note from the romantic guy that reads, "I think this is my last note. I'm going to die having never found my escape." But really, that's not true. This place was like my escape from everything else. In the end, my death is kind of romantic. When I reached room 98, Specimen 2 decided to chase us again, which worked out for us since room 100 is the next save room. Well, he didn't make it very far, did he? Alrighty, so continuing on, we have some static on the screen, and a new note which reads, "This was such a surprise that there would be another entry, another actual entry, one I could admire, but then as suddenly as it came, it left, and now you disband. Your influence and inspiration will never leave me." I tried opening the door to get out of here, but it appears to be locked. I guess we just gotta keep moving forward then. Holy shit! So that thing that just jump scared us is named Howard. He's inspired by the game PT and isn't really much of a threat. He does no damage to you and only appears in this continuous looping room. If you pick up the note once and then keep trying the door every time the room loops, you'll eventually get out. I was able to get out, and at room 106 I found another note. This one reads, "This place is finally starting to affect me. I've seen enough horror movies to know how to survive a simple ghost or two, but these monsters keep getting faster and stranger." So someone actually made it farther than the romantic dude. Maybe there is hope for us. At room 108, our friend here decided to leave another note. "In order to survive this house, I need to keep writing notes. I must do everything a central protagonist would and hope this is one of those stories. Insert obscure horror reference that no one gets and misinterprets as instructions somehow." This guy thinks he's the main character, but we'll probably find his body later, just like Mr. Romantic. Everything seemed pretty normal until I got to room 120. This place seems to be a lab area, probably where they make all the specimens. Is that broken glass? Something is 100% gonna attack us here. On a table in this room, I found a key card and a note, which reads, "Subject 5 is growing more and more restless. I told Spook we need more funds for sedatives, but she just laughed and flew into the ceiling. Without more chemicals to keep these things docile, I'm not sure how much longer we can keep them here safely. Generic lab assistant." Entering the next room, I found a hole in the ceiling and some blood. There's also a note next to the blood which reads, "I believe Subject 5 is loose. The glass around its container is shattered, and I can faintly hear clicking coming from the ceiling. I don't know what will happen now. If it is out and alive, then this is probably my last report." The clicking is getting louder now. Generic lab assistant. So now we have to listen for clicking and... What the f*** is that? This right here is Specimen 3, and my god do I hate this thing. If you know anything about me, I hate bugs. Especially bugs 10 times the size of you. Thank god bugs aren't this big in real life.
Oh my god!
This guy likes to come out of holes in the ceiling after you pass them. This gives you a strategy in certain rooms since you can dodge the holes and avoid seeing him altogether. Other rooms he would rather break down the door. The main threat of this guy is his speed. When it comes to the maze rooms, you gotta be careful to not mess up often since he will catch up to you immediately. For those wondering, Specimen 3 is actually inspired by Resident Evil. If you've played the Resident Evil series, you know there's plenty of labs and giant bugs, so it makes sense. His cat DOS entry reads as follows. Specimen 3. Type, active / in testing. Total fatalities, 43. Method, infectious bites. A test specimen being developed at GL Labs. Should prove useful when released. Trials have shown it is adequately effective to average subjects. And here's his desk screen. This guy was definitely more threatening than the last specimen, but wasn't terrible to deal with. After running around for a while, I finally lost him. I do want to mention, he looks a lot better in the HD version of this game. In the original, I couldn't tell if a centipede was chasing me or a big piece of shit. And at room 144, I found this nice screen on the wall that reminds us we aren't going to get out of here anytime soon. And at room 150, we have reached yet another save room. Did you guys hear that? I mean, I was able to grab a snack earlier. Maybe I can get out my front door. Let's find out. Play me? Well, I guess it doesn't even do anything. The next rooms were pretty boring until I reached room 160, which appears to be a school. The first classroom I entered was empty, but the next one has some weird shadow students in it. I wonder what happens if I— Oh! Okay, so don't go near the students. In the classroom across the hall, I did find a note that reads, Matsuri never came to class today. I hope she made it home okay. After exploring some more classrooms, I came upon one with another note on a desk. This one reads, could it really be true? I thought the fairy tales about the ghosts that eat children who sneak in after class was just to keep us from disobeying, but Matsuri is still missing. Alright, well, children eating ghosts are not something I want to come in contact with. I also found this poster of Kyubi from Madoka Magica. This will be more important later on. What is this music? Hello? Okay, so this one is easily the most terrifying one yet. It might not move all that fast, but she has the ability to go through walls. Yes, I said that right. She can go through walls. Bro, hold on. What's going on right now? Yo, who's that? Hold on. I gotta turn this off, man. Where's the power button, bro? Bro, what are you looking at, Goofy? What did I just watch? Specimen 4 is inspired by a few different characters, those being Sadako from The Ring, Sachiko from Corpse Party, and Kayako from The Grudge. Cat DOS entry for Specimen 4 is by far the freakiest one yet. Specimen 4. Type, active. Total fatalities, 85. Method, consumption. A 14th century spirit that was contained and relocated here. Tests have yet to reveal origins, but all relevant information has been placed into testing chamber. Proved effective, but not greatly more than previous specimens. And here is the death screen. Whoever made this seriously needs to seek some medical help. The chases are definitely getting more challenging, but I was able to lose her at room 180. I even found a note in the same room as well. Well, I still haven't died, so it appears I might be the protagonist, but I'm not entirely sure. I hope I'm not some side character that leaves notes for pointless exposition. Also, I found a strange computer that gave descriptions of the monsters, and it seems like they are called effective based on how many people they kill. This dude is definitely the side character at this point, and it seems he found the cat DOS machine that we found earlier. The next room had another note, this one reading, I think the effectiveness of the specimens is also somehow related to the souls of the people they kill somehow. Anyway, I'm still alive and strong, but I feel like the inmost cave of my journey lies ahead. I wonder what the antagonists will look like. I hope they're cute. Hold up, how old is Spooky? After a little more walking and having to deal with Specimen 4 again, I finally reached room 200, which means we're a fifth of the way there. Not time to celebrate yet though, since we have much further to go. At room 210, I've reached the next specimen spawn room, and this is straight out of Silent Hill. I mean, come on, if you've played the game, you could probably tell instantly. The first note I found here reads, "The darkness is slowly consuming us now. I don't think our rituals will appease it much longer. How are we supposed to know this would happen?" So just like Silent Hill, there are some rituals going on that clearly aren't going as planned. Continuing on, I found yet another note, this time saying, "It's not really our fault, we just did what Mother has told us to do in this sort of situation." I found one last note in another room that reads, "Mother is not pleased with us, but how are we supposed to know that the girl wasn't pure?" Han Solo, is that you? Not sure how he got here, but it's a cool reference, I guess. I don't really know how I feel about this room. I'm gonna just pretend I didn't even see it. After leaving this room and continuing down the hallway, we get our first look at Specimen 5. Now, Specimen 5 isn't too dangerous. She's overall pretty slow and likes to make you hallucinate. If you're not an old head and have even decent vision, this one should be a breeze. If she does manage to trap you, however, she will do over half your health with just one hit, so don't get cocky. Like I guessed earlier, this specimen is inspired by Silent Hill. The sword she carries is inspired by Pyramid Head, and the look of Specimen 5 is inspired by the nurses from the game. Her cat DOS entry reads as follows. Specimen 5, type active, total fatalities 168, method unknown. A creature found inside the church of a small town. Subjects are lost after contact with the specimen. Current method of killing is unknown, proved extremely effective against subjects with mental issues or weak wills. And here's her death screen. I lost her at room 227, so she didn't actually chase for too long. Of course, on my way to room 250, I got chased by some familiar faces, those being Specimen 3 and Specimen 5. And just like that, we are at room 250. After hitting room 250, this save room is a little bit different.
That's great. I shall grant you a gift for your progress. So just keep going.
Spooky gives us a nice present, which doesn't even have anything inside of it. Ha ha ha, very funny, Spooky.
Fuck you, bitch ass.
Can you please let me leave my house?
Not until you finish the game.
Wait a minute, I was able to get on my front porch earlier. I wonder if I can just leave my house. I mean, what's stopping me, right? Let's just finish the game. Near the save cross, I also found a password on the wall. Not sure what that's for, but maybe we'll find out later. Now, these next 50 rooms weren't anything new. I just got chased by some specimens we've already seen before, those being Specimen 3 and Specimen 4. These chases were easy, and I reached room 300 no problem at all. Continuing on, these first 10 rooms were... Oh, okay, is this the Shadow Temple? This next specimen room is clearly inspired by Zelda, both visually and audibly. I mean, listen to the song. In order to see what room you can enter, you need to stand on this circle in the middle of the room, just like when you use the Lens of Truth in Bottom of the Well or the Shadow Temple in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The first room I entered, I found 2 different notes. The first one said, "One day, a strange merchant came to town. He sold handmade puppets and trinkets, and all the children loved his store and his gifts. But the town couldn't support his store because the other shops were failing. The other shopkeepers became jealous, so one night, some of the townspeople took all of his puppets and threw them in the river." The other note says, "But just afterwards, he came running to the river, crying and wailing that his children were being drowned. He dove into the river trying to save his possessions. The townspeople, bitter and still angry, watched him frantically thrash and dive into the river until he never came back to the surface of the water." This room also has a bunch of cool masks in it, definitely referencing Majora's Mask. The next area you unlock has 2 more doors to enter. The first one I entered had 2 more notes in it, with the first one reading, "Although not what they wanted, the shopkeepers were satisfied." And the second one reading, "Years later, the children of the town began to go missing, and as more and more children disappeared, people began to find more and more puppets in the forest and around the river. These puppets seemed almost to look like the missing children sometimes." I also found a key in here that looks just like the boss keys from the Zelda series, which means the specimen is probably in the next room. This guy looks extremely creepy, and the music does not help at all. When you look at this guy, he doesn't move, and as soon as you look away, he goes in the ceiling. After he's up in the ceiling for a little bit, you'll hear a sound effect, and then he'll drop down behind you, stabbing you with a needle. As long as you're paying attention to the noise and looking behind you, you should not have a problem here. Now, like I said earlier, he is inspired by the Zelda series. He looks a lot like the Happy Mask Salesman, and his story is inspired by the creepypasta, Ben Drowned. If you don't know anything about this creepypasta, I definitely recommend watching a YouTube video about it because it is way too much to talk about here. His cat DOS entry reads as follows. Specimen 6, type active, total fatalities 189, method physical punctures. A wooden life-size puppet found floating in a reservoir where a town had once been. Specimen is active despite appearance and has proved very effective on subjects who disregard it or have vision impairments. And here's the death screen. I gotta say, this death screen is easily the hardest one to watch. The chase with Specimen 6 wasn't too bad. I lost him at room 342, which is perfect since we're right by a save room. What? There's no save room? There is a note on the table, let's check that out. I just realized that I never had a mentor figure, trial, or leaving home scene. That means the story isn't following the archetypes to make me a traditional hero, which means I can be killed off. Well, it was nice for a little while at least. This guy needs to stop watching anime. Not every protagonist has a childhood like Naruto. So at this point in the game, we only get a save room every 100 rooms, so we gotta be a lot more careful. The next room has another note which reads, Day 2, food supply depleted, water supply 30%, mental health deteriorating, leaving those behind to help others and mark where I've been. Not sure what happened to Day 1, but I'm guessing this guy's gonna die just like the romantic dude. I do want to say though that these notes are actually being left by a different person, meaning we never found out what happened to the anime protagonist guy. Probably died. At room 359 I found a note for Day 3. And yeah, this guy is definitely dying soon. Day 3, hallucinations are manifesting at increasing intervals. The cause is probably sleep deprivation or a gas that is being pumped into the rooms. I have not yet been injured, so I don't think the cause is a brain injury or blood clot. On the way to the next save room, I got chased by Specimen 6 again, which wasn't difficult at all. And just like that, we made it to room 400. This is a long hallway, let's keep following it. this guy again! Who the fuck is he? At room 406, I found an area called the Threshold of Consciousness, and this place is strange. When I first entered, this cute little cat talked to me.
Oh, hello there. Are you lost, little one? This place can help those who are ready, but expect turmoil more than you are used to.
You remember that cat poster from earlier? This cat is actually inspired by QB from Madoka Magica, which was the cat on the poster in Specimen 4's room. After leaving the first area here, I found a note about Day 4. Day 4, I'm starting to lose track of time. The battery on my phone became very low, so I delegated to save it in case I find an exit. At room 410, I've reached the next part of this area, which is at another side of the clock tower.
Two sides of the same coin. Knowing your projections can help you achieve freedom.
The room you enter here appears to have a bunch of worms crawling around and a pointer with an eye in it that follows you around the room. Continuing on to room 415, I reached the next side of the clock tower and found another room. This one appears to be an office building.
The mask you wear serves its purpose well, but be careful not to lose yourself in it.
I left the room and kept moving on until room 418, where I found a note about Day 5, and it seems like the guy is finally going to die. Day 5, I can't remember. Why did I come here? Was there ever a purpose? I believe death is steadily approaching me now. The hallucinations can hurt me. I'm out of provisions and I'm having sudden violent heart palpitations. At room 421, I got put in a galaxy room with the cat.
Balance is key to keeping your mind free and sane.
This room leads to a bloody hallway, which is making me think something bad is about to happen. The next room I entered was pitch black, with the cat saying,
Knowing your shadow can greatly help you, but be ready to see what you'd rather not be.
Now, if any of you were confused on what the cat was actually saying, you're not alone. Every room that we entered was a reference to the archetypes of unconsciousness, which was proposed by a man by the name of Carl Jung. Now, the next room is where the chase truly begins. And no, the cat isn't the specimen. This is. This is Specimen 7, and it is basically a wall that moves very slowly. If it reaches you, you die instantly. Overall, this one isn't bad to deal with. Just don't get lost too many times, and you should be able to outrun the wall. This specimen's design is inspired by Gygus from Earthbound. And here is its Capdos entry. Specimen 7, type unknown, total fatalities 93, method unknown. Specimen is constantly changing form and attributes depending on subject's personality, but most common form resembles a wall of moving anatomy symbols. Only effective on subjects with past trauma or a history of psychological issues. At the time of recording this video, this is actually the only specimen in the whole game with no death screen, so I can't actually show you one. Overall, you gotta be pretty bad to die to this thing, and at room 444 I lost Specimen 7 and continued on. A few of the older specimens rechased like Specimen 4, Specimen 3, and Specimen 2. This is nothing we aren't used to already. After escaping from these specimens, I finally reached the halfway point in the next save room. Room 500. Spooky makes another guest appearance here and has some more help for us. This time she has an express door for us to use. At this point, I have major trust issues and I don't even want to...
Stop complaining and finish the game.
There is another password located at this save spot as well. After taking the express tunnel, we... Is this a joke? Room 51?
Bruh.
Ah! I refuse to believe this is real. There's no way. This is where we met Specimen 2. As soon as I picked up the note, it displayed an error. It says, error 002313FB _ gel. Cannot release twice. Exit through express. The error occurred because we've already visited this room. Luckily, a different express door appeared to put us back on track. On my way to the next specimen room, Specimen 5 decided to chase me again. Luckily, I easily made it to the next area and... Did we escape? No, of course not. It's just another room. Now, this area is strange. We are outside the mansion, but still inside the mansion. The next room was actually the inside of a cabin. In here, I found a note that reads, For a while, I thought I had really escaped this place, but despite the trees and flora, I think this is actually just another room. I did, however, find deer, so I might at least get to eat. They make some strange sounds, though. After leaving this room, I actually found the deer and get away from me! After narrowly escaping them, I entered the next area, which is another cabin. And here I found a second note that reads, I don't know what they are, but those are definitely not deer. I tried sneaking up on one the other day to kill for food, but it saw me as soon as I got close. I was barely able to get away from the thing. I've managed to board up most of them. Hopefully I can find another way out of here. In the next area, I found an axe? If we see those deer again, I'm going to make sure to show them who's boss. After being a psychopath, I entered a weird cult-like room. The first room I entered had a vinyl player in it that plays a very creepy song. But don't let that song finish or else this happens. Yeah, I don't like that either. The next room I entered, I found a key for the only door left. And this room is the daddy of all deer. This is Specimen 8. This guy is very dangerous. When you lose sight of him, he travels through walls directly to your location. And fast. And when I say fast, I mean it. The only thing you can really do against him is stay close by and not lose sight of him. This makes it so he can't teleport to your location. He also loves to talk. I'm gonna end up hearing him in my sleep. Dude, get out of my head!
Your flesh will sustain my children.
Oh my gosh, man, come on. The inspiration behind Specimen 8 is the beast from Over the Garden Wall, and its appearance is inspired by the Wendigo. And here is his Cat-Doss entry. Specimen 8, type, active, total fatalities, 149, method, absorption. A floating figure that appeared in a test chamber a few years after it was filled with what was believed to just be unusually violent deer. Specimen seems to engulf subjects and absorb them into its torso region, proved extremely effective on violent subjects. And here's its death screen. This chase was definitely the hardest one yet, but I managed to escape him at around room 576. In the next room, I found a note for day 7. I guess day 6 didn't happen then, did it? Day 7. I can't tell the real from unreal anymore. My limbs refuse to move the way I want them to. I feel like I'm wading in a deep river that is always floating against my direction. Now I will lay down and let the river flow over me. I will let it guide me to its end. I know where I'm going anyway. This entire place is just a gyrating, screaming rock in the vastness of an infinite kingdom. I'm going to rest now. I'll be watching over you. This is sadly the final note we'll get from this guy. Specimen 4 decided to chase us again on our way to the next save room, and I tried hitting her with the axe. Sadly, this does not work. But trust me, I will be trying to hit every specimen from now on. At room 595, I found this weird brain room, but we'll talk more about that later. And just like that, we have reached room 600. Nothing happened in the first few rooms here, but at room 610 I entered the next specimen spawn room. This area is very futuristic and space-like, with the doors having holographic buttons. The first room I was able to enter had a note on a crate that reads, "This old place is somehow even worse than the new GL labs. Although it seems to have been constructed with a much larger budget than the new lab, nothing works quite right. I can see why it was abandoned so quickly. I wonder if there really is anything here worth salvaging." I also found a generator in here to help us with turning the power back on. The next area I went to had a second note, this time on a table. This one reads, "This facility is quite odd. Some of the equipment doesn't seem quite right, almost as if it were designed for people without hands. Also, I'm not sure if it's just faulty electronics, but the power keeps fluctuating and weird noises are coming from the air ducts. Well, hopefully we don't have to go through the air ducts." And of course, after going through the futuristic doors, I got a glimpse of blood in an air duct. To make things even worse, the power went out again, so now we have no light. I ended up crawling through the vents anyways and had destroyed a bunch of this weird webbing. But luckily, we didn't get attacked. On the other side of the tunnel, I found another note. This one reading, "Spooky just said that there were things we needed to salvage from this place. I'm starting to worry that a loose specimen may be included in the list of things for us to retrieve. The power just shut off again. Is everything broken in here?" Of course, I have to go through yet another vent. I mean, why wouldn't I have to? In this vent, I found another note that reads, I don't know what to do. I can't think well. I feel strange. I'm hiding from that thing. I feel like something is growing on my skin. I can't seem to tear it off fast enough, and I'm losing a lot of blood. Alright, this is starting to get bad real quick. After leaving the air duct, I found another note in front of a generator. This one says, "You have to keep it close. It becomes something else when it gets too far away. Something I can't outrun." After turning on the generator, Onyx from Pokémon comes out of the vent to attack us. But this actually isn't Specimen 10. This is Specimen 10, and man is he dangerous. Like the note from earlier said, you gotta keep him close. When he's in front of you, he walks extremely slow and will not really seem like a threat. But get too far away, and that will change in an instant. He turns into a smaller form and travels at a speed faster than you can run, so be careful. To make things worse, the rooms at this point are made intentionally longer just to screw you over in this chase. Specimen 10 is mainly inspired by John Carpenter's The Thing, and it is also inspired by Necromorphs from Dead Space. Specimen 10's second form is inspired by the Xenomorph from Alien. And here is a cat DOS entry for Specimen 10. Type, active. Total fatalities, 245. Method, parasitic infections. A form-changing creature that is believed to be an extraterrestrial, though it was not officially proven. Proved very effective on most subjects, but deemed too difficult to contain. The specimen broke out of its containment area due to frequent electrical malfunctions. And here's the death screen. Yes, if you're curious, that was binary code, and here's what it translates to. You are more than just an animal. Use the soul you've been given, and be responsible for your actions. This specimen takes forever to get away from, since it makes you walk everywhere. I lost him at room 629, and hopefully won't run into him again anytime soon. Now, if you're being observant, you may have noticed two things. Firstly, what happened to Specimen 9? And second, what was up with the onyx-looking creature? To start with, Specimen 9 wasn't forgotten about and will come up later, trust me. And the onyx-looking creature was actually Specimen 10 in the original game. The creators didn't actually like this specimen, so he was removed in future updates. I will still show the original Specimen 10's cat DOS entry for those who are curious. Type, docile. Total fatalities, 0. Method, unknown. Worm-like creature that inhabits the old rundown GL labs. A genetically modified eel that was supposed to be extremely violent, but instead was very passive. Though not effective, it was kept as a pet until the facility was abandoned due to Specimen XX72D. After the chase with Specimen 10, I took my anger out on a cardboard cutout. I also ran into Specimen 2 again and decided to attack him as payback. If you think that's harsh, look at what I did to Specimen 6. And just like that, I reached room 700. You know, when I started these sets of rooms, I thought there's no way there could be another specimen room, since we are so close to room 750. But I was wrong. I ended up arriving at a restaurant. I was surprised to say the least. I went behind the counter and found a note that reads, 1. I was anxious getting a job here at first, but it seems like things are getting better. This chain is really expanding, which is a shock because just last week I heard this company was going broke. Every day, more and more people show up to eat here. Something still sets me off about this place and its food though, so I'm going to try and not eat anything from here. I mean, unless you want the shits, I wouldn't eat here either. I then went to the manager's office and found a second note. This one reading, 2. Today was a weird day. The average number of orders continues to rise as it has been, but I don't know about the number of people. Today I saw someone use the drive-thru and order a lot of food for one person, and then about 10 minutes later they were back. They ordered the exact same meals and then they left again. Then after another 10 minutes they were back again. Maybe they're just delivering food for a party or a hotel, but it worries me for some reason. I then decided to go towards the bathrooms and I found a note on the floor. 3. Well, I broke my one rule today. The management doesn't give out actual lunch breaks, so I can't go anywhere and they won't allow outside foods here. I mean, they actually screamed at the last customer who did that. Anyway, I had a burger. It wasn't bad and I don't feel sick, so I might get a few every now and then. Dude broke his one and only rule. After walking around the bathroom and ignoring this blood stain, I found a key in one of the stalls. I then explored a little bit more and found a play place. There was a note outside of the entrance that reads, 4. This is strange. I had a dream last night about this restaurant. I know I was here, but I also felt like I was in another place at the same time. Everything looked so wrong. Nothing was the right size, and I kept hearing these strange animal noises, almost like wailing. I guess I just feel guilty after eating that burger the other day. Also, today I saw that man again, the one who kept ordering every 10 minutes. This time, he never even left the parking lot. He just got his meal parked and then got back in line. He must have done it at least 8 times before he left. After I put my shoes away, I decided it was finally time to enter the play place to see if I could find anything new in here. This is my first time going in a play place in a long time. Last time I was in one, I got extremely scared. Anyways, in this play place I found the 5th note. 5. There's a horrible accident today. At least that's what the managers are calling it. One of the other employees brought in some outside food and got into a fight with the manager about it. The employee said that the burgers here smell like sulfur, and then watched the manager grab the kid's neck and shove his head onto the grill. The employee got up and ran out before anyone could do anything, and I'm told that he is fine, but that really shook me today. That's a lawsuit. After traversing a little longer, I found the 6th and final note. 6. I'm leaving. I fell asleep in my car today after eating one of those burgers. I remembered brief flashes of a man or animal coming towards me and feeling like some huge lumbering thing was wailing from deep underground as I continued eating. When I woke up, I was fine, but had veered off the road. I don't know if it's some weird allergic reaction to a preservative they use or something much worse, but this is my last day. Next to the note was a bloody hook that is definitely sanitary for kids to play with. At the last area of the play place, I grabbed the key and got out of there. This key actually unlocks a meat locker that we missed earlier, back behind the counter. Inside of here is one more key that will hopefully get us out of here. Is that a beef demon? This is Specimen 11, and he's pretty scary. He likes to travel through walls and messes with your vision. Imagine Specimen 5, but actually dangerous. He likes to make doors completely disappear so you can't see where the exit is. He also likes to occasionally give you beef hallucinations for some reason. You also have the ability to attack this guy to reset him, which is what I prefer to do. If you play against this one like Specimen 4, you should be fine. Specimen 11 is actually inspired by 2 different things. The first thing being a Little Big Planet map Kira made called Beef Corp. And the second is an experience that Akuma Kira's wife had while working at Arby's. Here's the Capdos entry for Specimen 11. Type active, total fatalities 317, method unknown. A floating red figure that was found inside a secret area below a large abandoned corporate office, once owned by a restaurant franchise. The specimen is extremely violent and also seems to leave the house at will despite various containment methods. Victims vanish on contact with specimen, but sometimes remains of the victim have been found inside the testing chamber days later. Proved not effective as victims' souls do not remain after contact. And here's its death screen. And yes, there's more binary here. This time it translates to, believe in God but question the teachings of men. This specimen also likes to talk to you just like Specimen 8. You probably can't understand what's being said here, but if you reverse it...
Turn flee. Stop running away.
Pretty weird, right? This guy wasn't too bad to deal with, especially since we can just attack him. Another password? Alright, that's it. I'm getting my spooky professional on the line. Yo.
Yeah?
Mr. Spooky Professional. What's with these passwords, man? I'm losing my mind. I'm getting a password every 250 rooms. I don't know what to do with them.
Oh, those passwords. Yeah, if you go to the main menu and then you go to the options, If you look in the bottom right corner, you'll see something that says passwords. Yeah, for each password, pumpkin, cheese, and cake, each takes you to the respective room. So it allows you to skip around. So, you know, for checking out specimens they're trying to get.
So I can skip rooms?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
You seem to be having a bit of a crisis going on. I think I'm
I want to see my family. No. Alright, so like usual, Spooky loves to be helpful and granted us unlimited stamina. After entering the next room, I realized we got screwed over once again. I'm not able to sprint at all. I mean, come on, what if something starts chasing me when I have no stamina? Thankfully, nothing did end up attacking me, and we got to room 800 pretty easily. Hey Spooky, before I continue, can I go get some food? I'm mad hungry.
Sure, fat ass, but it has to be Arby's.
That's fine, I'll take anything at this point. It's this one over here. Hey, does the beef demon work here? This is where stuff is going to get serious. We only got 200 more rooms to go. At room 810, I found the next area, which is a mansion. Yes, a mansion inside of a mansion. That makes sense. As soon as I walked in, I found a note on a table right by the entrance. What is this? Wow, what a mansion inside another mansion. Maybe I've made it all the way to the end of the house. Maybe this is like a resting place or another entrance perhaps. Whatever the case, I think this is a good spot to rest. I caught the Resident Evil joke there, you can't fool me. Anyways, after exploring the mansion for a bit, I found a wine storage room with another note. I can hear him coming down the hallway. I need to hide, but I don't know where. I now know this is not an exit or a resting place. It is just another specimen room. I think he's outside the door now. I started shitting bricks here and I found a place to hide quick. This guy came strolling right in and started looking for me. He also had some questionable things to say while he was searching.
I can smell you.
I mean, come on, who says that? After he left the room, I kept searching for a way out and found a big dining hall. At the end of the table, I found a third note that reads, "This mansion is strange. I think the bricks and wood are actually just painted on. Everything still feels kind of fake. Also, I keep hearing movement and voices below me. Maybe other survivors are hiding down there. Well, looks like we gotta find a hatch somewhere." I went upstairs to look for more clues and found another note in a bedroom. This one saying, "I somehow managed to get away, but I don't know for how long. I hear him, even when I know he's not there. It's like he isn't even real, but instead my own fears manifesting themselves and stalking me." I decided to hide since I thought I heard him coming, and it's a good thing I did because he walked right on in. After he left, he dropped the key out of his pocket like the bozo he is. This key took me to the library where I found yet another key. I then took this key and went to a cool piano room with a book on the table. I grabbed this and hid once again since I knew he would be on his way here. And of course I was right. After he left, I ran back to the library and put this book in the secret bookcase to reveal a hidden basement. And this area is insane. Took a wrong turn and found a room full of all the victims of the mansion. And let me tell you, there are a lot of bodies down here. I also found a note which says, "I have a theory. I think it's this pseudo mansion. I think it's playing with my head. I still hear him. I must find that man and kill him with the sickle I found in the forest." These notes must have been written by the man trying to kill us, but why? The next room I entered had a locker in it, so I knew exactly what I had to do. This guy dropped yet another key that can hopefully get us out of here. On my way out, the man found me and started sprinting directly at me. If you think this is specimen 12, then you're sadly mistaken, because the house is actually the specimen. The old man is just its host. The only thing the old man does is sprint at you every once in a while. Keep running and you'll be fine. This whole area and the old man are inspired heavily by the Clock Tower series and The Shining. Here's the Katos entry for specimen 12. Type active, total fatalities 57, method various. An old Victorian mansion that seems to build itself around its environment. The specimen sometimes chooses a host to possess and uses them to attack the subjects with various means depending on the host's characteristics. Not much is known about the origin of the mansion, but signs occasionally show an earlier massacre or tragedy has taken place within the mansion. Proved very effective, but varies itself too often to be a reliable method of extraction. And here's the old man's death screen. Something interesting about this death screen is if you play it reversed and with a lower pitch, you can hear the man screaming no, truly proving he was taken over by the house. After running away from him for a little while and having some sick sword fights, I managed to escape. I then had an encounter with Specimen 8 that ended abruptly due to us finding our second Katos machine. And here is where we can see Specimen 9 for the first time. It was you all along? Take the dead, to 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 take the dead. This doesn't seem right. You know what? I'm gonna try to modify the house layout again. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? What is this? So after clicking Modify House Layout 6 times and then clicking Specimen 9's entry, you can see a list of secret specimens which are references to a lot of Kira's older work. For example, the mattress and dolphin are both related to Gmod. Lines is related to Space Blaster, and Pena is related to Akuma Kira's Day Off. I thought this was a cool thing to throw in here, even though these guys don't appear in the actual game. What is important here is Specimen 9's real entry, which I'll read when we see him again. On my way to room 900, I got chased by both Specimen 11 and Specimen 8. This obviously wasn't bad, and I'm finally happy to say that we have made it to room 900. Only 100 more to go. Alright, so at room 902 I found another brain room. What the hell is that? This code will be important very soon. I also decided to hit the glass, which was a terrible idea. Anyways, I got chased by Deer Lord until I reached room 910, which appears to be the next specimen spawn room. And this place is dark and apparently full of water. The first thing I found was this note on the ground. Research Report 1. More whales are being shipped to the facility tomorrow. 1 for a health inspection, and 2 that are already dead for autopsies. More and more beach whales keep appearing around those islands, and I still can't find what is causing it. I entered the right side of the room, and in this area I found the next 2 notes. Note 2 reads, Research Report 2. Whale 014D has strange small bite marks. They appear to be from another smaller mammal, but the strangest thing about them is their placement. They are in even rows inside the whale's stomach, all about 5 feet from the bottom of the stomach lining. Research Report 3. Whale 015A is still alive but gets into fits of thrashing and is servicing more often than natural. I think there may be a problem with its lungs, but I don't have any tools that would allow me to check it without it dying. I will have to allow it to die from whatever is causing it and then do an autopsy. I also found a conveniently placed lantern on a table in this room. The next room I explored had another note. This one reads, Excerpt 4132. And then I watched carelessly as the sea rose above the sky, casting waving shadows over the world. I saw the silhouettes of creatures both familiar and forgotten, and suddenly I found myself falling upwards towards an ocean of darkness. The only other door here is locked, so I went to the left side of the area and found a really neat glass window, which shows a whale swimming. This whale's name is actually Big Chungus, according to the game files. I also found note 4 in this room. Research Report 4. Whale 015D has died much sooner than I expected while I was away on holiday. I regret not being here, but I had estimated it would live much longer. The team that did the autopsy said nothing seemed to be wrong with the lungs, but the stomach had a circular hole about 2 feet in diameter all the way through to the outside of the whale. This pretty much confirms a parasite is the cause of death. And the next room I entered had note number 5. Yes, there are a lot of notes in this area. Research Report 5. The research facility is now in dire need of more engineers. We have a whole block that is flooded and some vital staff are missing. The only other room we have left to explore is the locked room from earlier. There's a 4-number combo here, and if you remember, one of the notes earlier was called Excerpt 4132, which is actually the code for this door. And here is a pump to drain the water. I also found note number 6 in here. Research report 6. I hear a girl or an animal or something singing to me, pleading that I come outside my locked room and let the sweeping waves comfort me. I entered the big metal door we couldn't enter before and found myself in an area completely full of water that slows me down heavily. In the water, I found the final note. Research report 7. All the staff is gone. Only I remain. For no purpose I remain here, resisting the call from behind the sealed door. But I will remain, as long as I can. Don't open that door. In the next room, I found a key to unlock a door we didn't find yet. After finding and opening this locked door, I came face to face with Specimen 13.
Now this is easily the worst chase yet.
Because it's scary? No. Because she's fast? No. The real reason is because it's so boring! You have to stay on these boxes to avoid her from attacking you. As soon as you enter the water, she barrels towards you and damages you. Easily the slowest chase in the game and also the easiest. Specimen 13 is based off the sirens from Greek mythology and is inspired by Kart from Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Here is the Kathos entry for Specimen 13. Type, active. Total fatalities, 194. Method, drowning. An ancient water-dwelling creature believed to be a lost soul who died tragically during the deluge. Proved extremely effective against subjects that could not swim or fell for the specimen's lure. And here is her death screen. Overall, this one was pretty boring, and I lost her at room 930. Nothing interesting happened until I reached room 973, which is the arcade again. The last machine is finally lit up with a 4-digit code.
This is what the brain room code is for.
After typing in the code, we get to see a bit of Spooky's past play out on the screen. The first screen shows her holding a man's hand. It then cuts to her in a Halloween costume with a ghost in a sheet putting his hand on her head. It then shows the inside of her trick-or-treat bag, which looks to have fake blood, candy, and a Meddy Betty?
That's a fucking Meddy Betty. A medkit.
Honestly, not too sure what the last thing is, but maybe it's explained later on. And then we see what appears to be an eye looking at a bullet. And finally, we get a message on the screen that says, I just wanted to be taken seriously. I just wanted to scare people. They overreacted, but I don't blame them. At least I finally scared someone. I'm not going to explain what we just read here because we will learn all about it much later on. Trust me.
On the rest of my way to room 1000, Specimen 3 decided to chase me, which like usual was light work. A checkpoint now?
There's only 5 rooms left. What's about to happen?
This is the final stretch. I walked the 5 remaining rooms and reached room 1000. The next door had a lock on it, so I decided to break the lock and continue through. What the f*** is this? Walking around out here for a little while gives you Vista Sky Fatal Error? Oh, and here comes Spooky.
Well, you made it. Congratulations, I guess. Well... Oh! So now you must pass one final test to prove your fortitude or dedication or something.
Is this ever gonna end?
Now this is the final area in this game. It is extremely important.
We are finally gonna learn more about Specimen 9.
The first thing I found was this radio.
Taking all those logs they keep throwing out, and I'm nailing them together.
Alright, let's stop for a minute.
Okay, so the radio we heard earlier and this number are very important to Specimen 9's past.
Both of these are a reference to Unit 731, which is a place where Japan would perform terrible experiments on prisoners during World War II. The radio is referencing how the prisoners would be called logs because they burnt just like wood. The nailing has to do with the possibility of the prisoners being nailed together in the facility.
Believe it or not, these experiments are actually the reason we know how much water is in the human body. Yeah, it was terrible.
Now let's read Specimen 9's Cat-DOS entry. Type, active. Total fatalities, 42. Method, various. A survivor from the experiments conducted at Unit 731. Specimen was found hiding in a condemned farmhouse in Russia. Specimen 9 appears to be drawn to the dead or dead bodies and seems to be made up of a clay-like substance that changes density. Containment has not yet been successful, but Specimen proves very effective against all subjects. One really interesting thing I want to mention about the Cat-DOS machine is that the kill count of each specimen actually increases if you die. For example, if you die to Specimen 2, instead of saying 137 fatalities, it'll say 138.
I only died to Specimen 9 twice. I can't imagine dying more than that.
Hey everybody, Secret Flag here. I'm here to just show off the Specimen 9 kills. To show off how it works, because I have died, you know, once or twice to Specimen 9, and I'm here to show... Oh my god! Well, I'm not that bad, okay?
Bruh.
I'm really not. Listen, death numbers are arbitrary, okay?
Specimen 9 is not only based around Unit 731, but also the creepypasta called Red. Now that we read his Cat-DOS entry, let's enter this final room. This is the final fight with Specimen 9, and it is so fun. As you can see, this is his true form, which is what we saw in the true Cat-DOS entry. This fight is heavily inspired by the final boss fight from The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The first part of this boss fight has Specimen 9 placing points on the floor. A beam will appear from these points after a few seconds, so you can't stand on them for too long. The next phase has a giant hand appear from under Specimen 9. The hand will follow you around and eventually stop. If you stay in the shadow, a bunch of smaller hands will come out and then damage you. The next phase has Specimen 9 release some minions, which are believed to be inspired by the servant brutes from Amnesia: The Dark Descent. These guys will get in a group and try to damage you, but they're overall pretty weak. After you kill all of Specimen 9's minions, he will start sending balls of light towards you. Your goal is to deflect the ball of light back at Specimen 9 and attack him as much as possible. After this, the cycle continues until you hit him enough to defeat him.
Congratulations! You did it! It was interesting watching you swing your axe around like that. I know you'll make a fine specimen.
What? The bad ending? Yeah, so since we killed everything in our path, we are considered a terrible person. I'll show the other two endings right now so you can get an idea of what they look like. We're gonna start with the good ending.
Well, you died. In a pretty tragic way, too. Just tragic enough for you to become a ghost. Good job, by the way, making it this far. So buckle up, soldier, because now, I finally think we have enough troops to invade. The time has come, my loyal troops. No longer shall we be called cute or adorable. No longer will we be disregarded and ignored. For now, we are the most feared army in the world.
And here's the ending for those who are pussies.
Congratulations, you've done it. You can go home now, and if anything changes, we'll let you know. Bye.
And that about wraps up the game. How long have I been sitting here for? Oh! Alright everybody, that is the end of this video, but before we go, I want to talk a little bit about my experience with this game. My first time actually playing this game was earlier this year, and I absolutely loved it. I had a lot of funny moments, a lot of good scares, and the community helped me a lot with beating this game, genuinely. I think it's only right to show you guys some of my favorite moments from when I first played the game right now.
There's goo on the floor. I believe this is the goo of that monster thing. Alright guys, so I'm gonna turn around and I guarantee you 9 out of 10 that there's gonna be a guy behind us. Yep, and I figured. Alright, so we're gonna go. Let me check out my surroundings first. Oh, shoot! Ah, it's like, oh, we juked him. Oh, there she is. What does she do? Oh, yeah, she wants to eat us. She does want to eat us. Okay, keep moving. Don't look back. I don't know what her power is, though. Oh, that's her power. She can go through walls. Okay. Now, I got a comment on the last video that said, if you go in the next room and you wait 10 minutes and 10 seconds, something's gonna happen. This person could be lying to me, I don't know, but we're gonna try it. I have come back, and... Cat win, what does that mean? Okay, Dude, how far do we have to go? Oh! Yeah, I figured as much. What do you do? I'm gonna go to the door. Whoa! Okay. Stop. Stay away from me. Specimen 8. That's the deer I'm terrified of. Who's Specimen 9? There he is. Pipe. Total fatalities 1. Method. Take the dead to take the dead to take the dead. Okay. Interesting. Oh no. Why would you make this door up for us?
Bruh.
Ah! Okay, we killed it. We killed it. Do we want to scrap with all of them? I don't know. Go around. Go around. I don't want to fight them. No! Stop! Yo! Get away from me! Get away! Go, bro! Oh my gosh. Cardboard, I gotta stop looking behind me, man. I have a terrible feeling he just absorbs us in his robe. Ah! Oh my gosh, what was that? Ooh, go! Ah! Go. So we have to keep it close. Ah! Okay, okay. Open the door. Keep it close. Keep it close. Okay. See, it turns to that thing. So if the rooms are close together. Ah! Okay, no, that's not a way to do it. What's that noise? Oh, hello! Oh! Juke him! Juke him! I feel like they're giving us way too many short rooms. Oh. Ah! I spoke too soon! Oh, he's slow. Oh! Yeah! Yeah! And then beat him up! Now we got all the stamina we need. Come on, come on. Yes! Okay, we beat him. What a way to end a horror game. I was not expecting that.
Well, you died.
How did I die?
In a pretty tragic way, too.
We died?
The time has come, my loyal troops. No longer shall we be called cute or adorable. No longer will we be disregarded
What?
and ignored. For now, we are the most feared army in the world.
Oh my gosh. Like, did you really think it was gonna end seriously? That's a good point. That's a really good point.
This video took a month and a half to complete, and I want to thank a few people before we end it here. First person I want to thank is Secret Flag. Thank you for making my first playthrough extremely enjoyable and helping me get the information that I have here today to make this video possible. I also want to thank my friend John for helping me with the recording and the skits. This video wouldn't have been possible without you. I appreciate it. And finally, I want to thank all of you for making it this far. It truly means a lot to me that you guys got this far in the video and enjoyed it this much. If you're still here, consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. I'll be sure to make more videos just like this on some of your favorite games. Alright, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.